ruined bully's future after they hurt my friend. The smell of sawdust and varnish always calmed Sarah. Her dad used to have a small woodworking shop in the garage before. Now, the closest she got was the art room at Northwood High, prepping for the annual student showcase. Her photographs, blown up and mounted, lined one wall. Landscapes mostly, capturing the stark beauty of the surrounding woods, the play of light on the lake. Liam leaned against the doorframe, watching her adjust a frame. "Looks amazing, Sarah. You're going to blow everyone away." She managed a weak smile. "Thanks, Liam. Just hoping Mr. Abernathy doesn't stick them in the back corner again this year. He wouldn't dare. These are the best he's seen in years, and he knows it." Liam pushed off the doorframe and walked over, pointing to a close-up of a dew-covered spiderweb. "The detail in this one is insane. You captured every single drop, macro lens. And a lot of patience," she chuckled. "That's Sarah. Humble about her talent, always downplaying her skill. It's one of the things I admire about her. Also, what makes her such an easy target." Across the room, a group of students were gathered around a figure I knew all too well, Marcus Sterling. He was laughing, loud and obnoxious, as he showed something on his phone to the group. A few of them glanced over at Sarah, then quickly looked away. Marcus Sterling. Golden boy of Northwood High. Star quarterback, honor roll student, and son of David Sterling, the real estate mogul who practically owned half the town. He also happened to be a graded jerk. He caught my eye and smirked. A slow, deliberate smirk that sent a chill down my spine. He knew I hated him. He thrived on it. A few weeks ago, Sarah had politely declined Marcus's invitation to the homecoming dance. Polite, but firm. He wasn't used to being turned down, especially not by someone he considered beneath him. Since then, he'd been making Sarah's life a living hell. Small things at first, snide comments in the hallway, subtle shoves in the crowded cafeteria. Then, the vandalism started. A smear of paint across her locker, a flat tire on her beat-up Corolla. He never did it himself, of course. Always had his lackeys do the dirty work. He was too important to get his hands dirty. "Ignore him, Sarah," I said quietly. "He's just trying to get a reaction." She sighed. "I know, but it's hard, Liam. He's everywhere." The next day, during photography class, Marcus and his cronies were openly mocking Sarah's work. They stood in front of her display, making exaggerated gasps and sarcastic comments about the artistic merit of her photos. Mr. Abernathy, usually a stickler for classroom etiquette, conveniently turned a blind eye. I'd had enough. I walked over to Marcus, my fists clenched. "You got something to say, Sterling?" He turned, his eyes gleaming with malicious amusement. "Just admiring the talent." He said the word like it was a dirty joke, though I think I could take better pictures with my eyes closed. "Why don't you try shutting your mouth for once?" I retorted, trying to keep my voice level. Marcus chuckled. "Oh, I'm sorry, did I hurt your girlfriend's feelings? Maybe she should stick to taking pictures of her trailer park instead of trying to be all artsy." That was it. I lunged at him, tackling him to the ground. A brawl erupted, punches flying, bodies colliding with easels and tripods. Mr. Abernathy finally intervened, pulling us apart, his face red with anger. "Both of you, to the principal's office. Now." In Mr. Thompson's office, Marcus, predictably, got off with a slap on the wrist, a warning about maintaining a positive school environment. I, on the other hand, received a 3-day suspension for disruptive behavior. As I walked out of the office, I saw Sarah waiting for me. Her eyes were filled with a mixture of gratitude and concern. "Liam, you didn't have to do that," she said softly. "It's not worth it." "Yes, it is," I replied, my voice firm. "He can't keep getting away with this, Sarah. Someone has to stop him." That was the moment I decided I wouldn't just stand by and watch Marcus Sterling destroy Sarah's life. I was going to fight back, but not with my fists, with my mind. My first move was gathering evidence. I started documenting everything, the dates, times, and details of every instance of bullying. I spoke to other students who had witnessed Marcus's behavior, getting them to write down their accounts. Most were hesitant, afraid of Marcus and his family, but a few, disgusted by his actions, agreed to help. Then, I enlisted Ethan's help. Ethan was a computer whiz, a master of coding and hacking. He could navigate the digital world like it was his own backyard. "Ethan, I need your help," I said, meeting him at our usual spot, a booth in the back of the local coffee shop. "With what? Another coding project?" "I'm kind of swamped with the robotics competition," he replied, taking a sip of his iced latte. "This is more important than robots, Ethan. It's about Sarah. Marcus Sterling is making her life miserable, and I need to find a way to stop him." Ethan listened intently as I explained the situation, his expression growing darker with each detail. He hated bullies. He'd been one himself in middle school. "Okay, I'm in," he said finally. "What do you need me to do?" "I need you to dig up dirt on Marcus and his family. Anything that could help us expose him for who he really is." Ethan nodded. "I can do that. But it's not going to be easy. The Sterlings have a lot of money and a lot of lawyers. They know how to cover their tracks." "I know," I said. "But we have to try. Sarah deserves justice." Ethan spent the next few days glued to his computer, scouring the internet, hacking into databases, and following digital breadcrumbs. He was like a bloodhound on a scent, relentlessly pursuing his target. He uncovered a treasure trove of information. Marcus's social media accounts, filled with boastful posts and arrogant comments. His father's company records, revealing shady business dealings and potential tax evasion. Even some old-school records, showing a history of disciplinary issues that had been conveniently swept under the rug. The most damning thing we found was a series of emails between Marcus and his friends, detailing their plans to sabotage Sarah's photography exhibit. They talked about vandalizing her work, spreading rumors about her, and even trying to get her disqualified from a prestigious art competition. "This is gold," Ethan said, showing me the emails on his laptop. "With this, we can take him down. But how to use it?" I didn't want to just hand it over to Mr. Thompson. He'd probably just shred it to protect the school's reputation, and going to the police would be a long shot. The Sterlings had influence. I needed a plan, a way to expose Marcus's true character to the entire school, to the entire town. I decided to start small, with subtle acts of sabotage. I anonymously leaked some of Marcus's embarrassing social media posts to the school newspaper, highlighting his arrogance and his disrespect for others. The posts went viral, sparking outrage among the student body. Then, I arranged for a random encounter between Marcus and one of the students he had bullied in the past. The student confronted Marcus publicly, calling him out on his behavior and accusing him of being a spoiled brat who thought he was above the rules. The confrontation was caught on video and quickly spread throughout the school. Marcus was starting to crack. He was losing his cool, becoming increasingly paranoid and erratic. He lashed out at his friends, accusing them of betraying him. He even started suspecting his own parents of plotting against him. Meanwhile, Sarah was starting to show signs of recovery. The constant bullying had taken a toll on her mental health, but she was slowly starting to regain her confidence. She started taking pictures again, capturing the beauty of the world around her. One afternoon, I found her in the art room, working on a new project. She was smiling, her eyes shining with a newfound spark. "Hey," I said, walking over to her. "What are you working on?" "It's a surprise," she said, grinning. "You'll see it at the next exhibit." I smiled back. "I can't wait." But Marcus wasn't done yet. He knew I was behind everything, and he was determined to get revenge. He started spreading rumors about me, accusing me of being a jealous loser who was trying to ruin his life. He even tried to get me expelled from school, claiming that I had threatened him. Mr. Thompson, under pressure from the Sterlings, called me into his office. "Liam, I'm very disappointed in you," he said, his voice stern. "I've heard some disturbing allegations about your behavior. Marcus Sterling claims that you have been harassing him and making threats against him." "That's not true," I replied, my voice firm. "He's the one who's been bullying Sarah and me. I have proof." I pulled out the evidence I had gathered, the emails, the witness statements, the social media posts. Mr. Thompson glanced at them briefly, then sighed. "Liam, I appreciate your concern, but I can't just take your word for it. Marcus is a respected student, and his family has been very generous to this school." "So, you're saying you're going to protect him, even though he's a bully?" I asked, my voice rising. "I'm saying that I need to consider all sides of the story," he replied, Now, I suggest you stop this behavior immediately, or I will be forced to take further action. I walked out of the office feeling defeated. Mr. Thompson was protecting Marcus, just as I had feared. The system was rigged in favor of the wealthy and powerful. But I wasn't going to give up. I had come too far to back down now. I knew I needed to go big. I needed to expose Marcus's true character in a way that no one could ignore. The opportunity came during the annual school fundraiser. The event was a gala held at the Sterling sprawling mansion, attended by the town's elite. It was the perfect stage for my final act. I enlisted Ethan's help one last time. We created a website, anonymously hosted on a server overseas, that contained all the evidence we had gathered against Marcus and his family. We titled it, "The Truth About the Sterlings." During the fundraiser, as David Sterling was giving a speech about the importance of ethical business practices, Ethan hacked into the mansion's sound system and projected the website onto the giant screen behind the stage. The crowd gasped as the evidence scrolled across the screen. The emails, the social media posts, the financial records. David Sterling's face turned white with shock and anger. Marcus stood frozen, his eyes wide with disbelief. Chaos erupted. The guests started whispering, pointing, and staring. The police were called. David Sterling tried to shut down the website, but it was too late. The truth was out. David Sterling faced multiple lawsuits and criminal charges. Sarah was vindicated. Her name was cleared, and her photography was finally recognized for its true talent. She received a scholarship to a prestigious art school in New York City. As for me, I was hailed as a hero by some and a villain by others. But I didn't care. I had done what I had to do to protect my friend and bring justice to a bully who thought he was above the law. A few weeks later, I sat with Sarah on a park bench, watching the sunset. "Thank you, Liam," she said softly. "You saved me." "You would have done the same for me," I replied. We sat in silence for a moment, listening to the sounds of the city. "So," I said finally, "New York City?" "Yeah," she said, smiling. "It's going to be an adventure." "I know you'll do great," I said. "Just don't forget about your friends back here in Northwood." "Never," she said. The revenge was complete. Marcus Sterling's life was ruined, but it had come at a cost. The whole ordeal had taken a toll on Sarah, on me, on everyone involved. It was a reminder that even the sweetest revenge can leave a bitter aftertaste. But as I looked at Sarah, her face glowing with hope and determination, I knew it had been worth it. I had stood up for what was right. And that, in the end, was all that mattered. A few months later, I got a postcard from Sarah. It was a picture of the New York City skyline, bathed in the golden light of the setting sun. On the back, she had written just 3 words: "Never forget Northwood." I smiled, knowing that she never would, and neither would I.